T.J. Walker. Now, Mr. Walker, thank you for joining us at this moment in time. Now, you say that this incident will do for public speaking what 9/11 did to airport security. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, it means there's going to be so much more scrutiny for people going to public events. The average congressman for years has received death threats. These are usually just from kooks and not taken very seriously. Well, now they take on a whole new light. And I predict many members of Congress are going to be much more skeptical about public speaking events. They're going to want the trappings of a presidential speaking event. Presidents have these elaborate security mechanisms. They have security guards, Secret Service. They have metal detectors to detect guns. So unfortunately, it's going to really shut down a lot of the communication voters have with their elected officials, because elected officials in America are now running scared.
Now, you mentioned that for years, public officials have received death threats. In fact, the sheriff of Pima County in Tucson said that he doesn't even know of a public official that doesn't receive death threats, or at least threats of violence against him. How do you exactly protect people in the public eye? And is it time for stricter firearms control in the U.S.?
Well, as even your viewers no doubt know, Americans have a passionate love affair for guns, and it's basically politically impossible for any politician to try to propose limiting handguns. And just recently, rules were rewritten to let people bring guns into schools in Arizona. So that is an extraordinarily difficult political challenge, because the gun lobby basically controls Congress in America and local legislatures as well. So it is going to be tough. What I do predict is you're going to see some change in the rhetoric of American politicians. Sarah Palin, the vice presidential nominee, is known for saying, reload, lock and load. Other prominent Republicans have said things like, let's use our Second Amendment solutions. That's a reference to using guns. Sarah Palin has used these sights like a gun on the district of where this representative lived. So there's a lot of very militaristic rhetoric used by politicians and commentators, principally on the right, when talking about how to defeat their Democratic competitors. I think we're going to see that taper down a little, because it is seen as so inflammatory.
Now, given the past 2 years especially, there has been extraordinary conflict between the two major political parties in the U.S. Has the American political system devolved into a state that breeds a sort of homegrown extremism of sorts?
Well, you can make the case with what happened in Arizona. It is no doubt extremism, and there are many political figures, especially on the right, who like to quote Thomas Jefferson, who said occasionally you need to bring the blood of, in order for more trees to grow, you must bring out blood. And many are endorsing that, but it's causing a lot of political figures across the spectrum to really question whether this is the wise thing. And some are saying it's time to renounce violence. We need to solve things in the voting booth and not with guns and bullets.
All right. Thank you very much for taking some time with us. That was T.J. Walker, a communications expert, speaking with us here on RT.